Hi everybody. Several years ago I had the good fortune of finding a fairly large group of wax cylinders, both at Columbia and Edison, some brown wax, and basically I brought them home and anxiously went through them, looking to see if there was any titles that I didn't have. And I was amazed to find one box that had almost all early home recordings. And several years ago, maybe only a couple of years ago, I posted a video, unexpected surprise, on an Uncle Josh cylinder. Anyway, it's on my channel, and one or two of my viewers who were kind enough to comment on that video asked if I could post some of the home recordings that I'd mentioned were in the box. And so I thought I would grant that wish today. First let me tell you what I'm recording on here, or playing this on. This is, I have 5 Edison Fireside phonographs in my collection. This is one of the nicest ones that I've ever found. This is a Model A Fireside. You can see the condition is just fantastic. You rarely find Edison Firesides or any early Edison phonographs, cylinder phonographs, in this sort of condition, with the bed plate in really sweet condition like this. I mean, it's just gorgeous. And it came with a Model K reproducer. I have removed that to play this brown wax. That's a dark brown wax home recording, so as not to hurt the grooves any, because the Model K that this came with has a heavier weight. But anyway, and this is the original horn that it came with, and of course the lighting doesn't do it justice, but the horn is just about perfect. So kudos to the original family, whoever they were, that owned this Edison Fireside and took such lovely care of it. Back to the cylinder that I want to play. It's a home recording. Again, it was in the box of cylinders that came with, I believe it was like 350 cylinders that I bought from one gentleman, assuming these were in his family. And I actually did contact him after I found out that there were home recordings in there, to see if he had any interest in hearing any of them or whatever. And I have not yet heard back from him. But anyway, this is from 1898 is when this particular song that this gentleman is singing on this home recording is "Who Threw the Overalls in Mrs. Murphy's Chowder." It's a delightful Irish type song that was written by George Geifer in 1898, and it was recorded commercially by Edward M. Favor and probably other people on Edison and Columbia. But what makes this one very, very special, and I think you'll agree with me after you've heard it, is that it's by someone that had presumably the family of this man that I bought the cylinders from, one of his ancestors. And I'm assuming this was made sometime between, say, 1901 and, say, 1908. because one of the cylinders mentions 1908. It mentions the gentleman's name that's doing the recording. Not this one, but a different one that I played yesterday. And it's not quite as clear, and there's some mold on the cylinder, but you can clearly hear him say his name at the end of the recording, and then 1908. So I'm guessing this cylinder was sometime between 1901 and 1908 is when the person recorded it. So it's got a neat introduction by the person singing it. He says it's Who Threw the Overalls in Mrs. Murphy's Chowder. I believe he says by Billy Johnson, but I could be wrong. That's what it sounds like to me. Okay, so here we go with a lovely, delightful, very early home recording on a dark brown wax cylinder made by someone. So step back in time with me to circa 1906-ish, I'm guessing, and enjoy. It's absolutely delightful. I was absolutely captivated when I first heard this cylinder. And as always, thanks for stopping in, folks.
Who threw the overalls in Mrs. Murphy's Chowder? Billy Johnson. Miss Murphy gave a party just about a week ago. Everything was beautiful, the Murphys, they not slow. They treated us like gentlemen, we tried to act the same, but only for what happened, oh, it was an awful shame. When Miss Murphy dished the chowder out, she fainted on the spot. She found a pair of overalls in the bottom of the pot. Tim Dolan, he got roaring mad, his eyes were bulging out. He jumped upon the piano and loudly he did shout, who threw the overalls in Mrs. Murphy's Chowder? Nobody spoke, so he shouted all the louder, 'tis an Irish trick, that's true, I can lick the mix that through. The overalls in Mrs. Murphy's Chowder. They drank the pants from out the suit, they laid them on the floor, and every man there swore that he'd never seen them before. They were plastered up with mud and dirt and poured out at the knees. They'd had their many ups and downs, as you could plainly see. When Miss Murphy she came to, she began to cry and felt she'd had them in the wash that day and forgot to take them out. Tim Dolan, he apologized for what he said that night. Then we put music to the words and sang with all our might. Who threw the overalls in Mrs. Murphy's Chowder? Nobody spoke, so they shouted all the louder, 'tis an Irish trick, that's true, I can lick some except through. The overalls in Mrs. Murphy's Chowder.
Was that fantastic or what? I'm sorry, I forgot to mention that because it's a rather, as with many home recordings, it's rather softly recorded, if you will. So I had to hold the camera like this, you know, kind of very close to the mouth of the Cygnet Horn here, so you could hear every word. But wasn't that delightful? I mean, it just, if you can imagine someone back then, you know, during the time of horse and buggies and, you know, a slower society, you know, just setting up their phonograph with a recorder, and probably he either memorized the words or he was holding some handwritten lyrics. It's obviously a song that he really enjoyed and sang it loud as he could into the recording horn. And in my mind, that's one of the finest early home recordings there is. I mean, it's just, you know, I was so pleased when I played it, and I hope you enjoyed it as well. Okay, so stay tuned, because I'm hoping to post some more either early brown wax recordings played on this machine, or maybe I'll grab a couple other home recordings if I think that you folks would enjoy them. Okay, thanks so much, folks, for stopping in.